Hi guys, so this is 5.6 notes, okay? So our title today is called Composition of Functions. This is really brand new to a lot of us here in class. So make sure you guys really try to listen and understand this lesson. Our only vocabulary today is composition of functions. Is a composition of function, okay? So a composition of function is a function that depends on another. Now, this is the notation. Can you see this bubble right here? This is f of g of x. So by definition, it equals to f and then parentheses g of x, okay? So if you see the bubble, it means we are going to plug in g of x into f of x, okay? So this is red. This is red, f of g of x, okay? So let's do an easy example right here. Example 1 says, if f equals, and we have three order pairs here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 4. Now g is a set of 2 points, 2, 5, and 4, 3. Now this fancy little bracket right here, guys, on the end, these represent a set, okay? These are set notation. Now, this one says, find f, and then you see a little bubble, f bubble g of 2. Well, we don't really read it as a bubble, okay, guys? So, f, little bubble symbol, but no, we don't read it as a bubble. We read it as f of g of 2. So, we can rewrite it in this way, okay? So first step, guys, we are to find g of 2. So here's our g function. Every time we see an x, we are supposed to find y. So g of 2 is really 5, okay? So that means g of 2 is 5. So our second step is really finding f of, we know g of 2 is 5, so we take out the g of 2 and plug 5 in. Well, f of 5, now we go over here and see, okay, find y when x is 5. Well, there's only one order pair that has x of 5. So the y value of that is 4. So guys, this whole answer equals 4. Now, the f function depends on the g, so that's why the definition says one function depends on another. The second half of this says find g of f of 4. I know there's a bubble right there, but keep in mind of how we read this, okay? G over f of 4. So by definition, we write it using parentheses like this. G parentheses f parentheses 4. So first step, we are going to do the inner component, okay? So first step, do the inner component. Find f of 4. Well, this just means that, hey, what is y when x is 4? As you can see here, I'm going to look over to my f function. Here's my f function. I want to find x value of 4. That does not happen. So since we don't have an x value of 4 in f, this, guys, does not exist. Does not exist. If this does not exist, g of f of 4, which is g of f of 4, does not exist. DNE is does not exist, okay? Because it says here, find it if they exist. In this way, in the second half, it does not exist. All right, you try on this bottom half. You guys are given an h function. This one has 4 order pairs. You guys are giving a k function. This also has 4 order pairs. You guys are asked to find half and half. Let's do that. If they exist, h of k of 6, okay? So remember, by definition, you guys should write h parentheses k parentheses 6. Now, if this is still brand new to us, find this first, okay? First, find k of 6, and then give me an answer. Then whatever that answer is, once you have it, then you're gonna do h of that answer. Okay. Now, if the first step, guys, doesn't exist, then the answer for the whole thing doesn't exist. So hopefully you guys have the first one, first step, k of 6 is 5. Then when we go to the h function, right, we want to find y when x is 5. And there's no x of 5 in the h function. So the second step doesn't exist. That means the entire answer does not exist, okay? Now let's do the second half really quickly. We're going to do similar process, but we're going to do k of h of 6. K of h of 6, which is k parenthesis h parenthesis 6, okay? Remember, we want to do the inner component first. So make sure, let's do this first. First step, k of 6, I'm sorry, no, inner component is h of 6. And then whatever that answer is, you're going to use it and plug it into here, and then see if you can come up with an answer. So hopefully you guys have the final answer being 12, right? Because h of 6 is 8, then we have to go and do k of 8. Now k is this function right here. The y value when x is 8 is 12, so your final answer is 12. Let's roll up to our example 2. Now in this particular example, guys, it looks like we are given two different equations. Your f equation is x squared minus 4, and your g of x equation is 4x minus 1. And we are going to ask to do, let's see, 4 examples here, and then you have a u try under. So this one, let's go do the first one. So by definition, f of g of 2, we can write it using parentheses, f of g of 2. First step, let's do g of 2. That means we want to look at the g function, find y when x is 2 in the g function. So 4 times 2 minus 1. 4 times 2 is 8, minus 1 is 7. Second step, guys, we're going to do the outer component, which is the f. So now this is f of 7. Remember, whatever this is, it gets plugged into here, like that, okay? Now we're going to go over to the f and look at the f. Find y when x is 7. So it's going to say 7 squared minus 4. Well, 7 squared, guys, is 49 minus 4. So your final answer is going to be 45. So f of g of 2 is 45. All right, let's do b. B is very similar, except we are asked to do g of f of 2, meaning that we need to do inner component first, which is f of 2. Well, f of 2, let's look at the f function really quickly. Find y when x is 2. So 2 squared minus 4. 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. Then second, we're going to do g of whatever this is. It gets plugged into here. Well, your g function is right here. So that's going to say 4 times 0 minus 1. 4 times 0 minus 1 is negative 1. So this whole answer is negative 1. And no, you don't have to. Guys, you don't have to write this again. Okay, you can, but you don't have to. So this or this is perfectly okay. Next, we are going to write f of g of x. Now, as you can see here, we don't have a number here, okay? It's just an x. So first step, we have to do the inner function. Well, your inner function, guys, is g of x, okay? First, your g of x. Well, g of x is given. G of x is given up here. 4x minus 1. Then we take this, and then we now go to the outer component and write f of 4x minus 1. Well, your f function is x squared minus 4. So that means every time we see an x, we chug in 4x minus 1. But this x is being squared, okay? So that means we see an x, 4x minus 1, and we need to square it. Now, to make sure we FOIL this out properly, we should really write this out twice. So 4x minus 1 times 4x minus 1, and then drop the 4 down. FOIL this out. This is going to be 16x squared. FOIL that. We have 4x. FOIL the middle. We have 4x. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Drop down the 4. Combine like terms there. So our final answer is 16x squared minus 8x and minus 3, and box it up. And no, we don't have to factor that out. Let's do one more here. Very similar, except that now we are asked to do g. Oops, my computer's frozen. Give me 1 second there, guys. There you go. Uh-oh. There you go. Okay, so we are asked to do g of f of x, okay? So again, first step, write down what f of x is, because this is your first part. F of x, and that's given to us. Let's go up and look. What was that function? X squared minus 4. X squared minus 4. Now your second outer component is g. So whatever that is, this is what gets in here, okay? This means every time we see an x, guys, we need to substitute x with x squared minus 4. We only have one x in the place here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy down the 4. I see an x, so I'm going to give it a blank space and then drop the minus 1. And that x gets x squared minus 4. And then we just have to distribute and then box it up. Okay? So by distribution, 4 times x squared is 4x squared. 4 times minus 4 is negative 16. Drop the 1 down. Minus 1 I meant. X squared minus 17 is our final answer. So for this one, as you can see, this is you try, meaning that I want you guys to spend a few minutes working these out. And then once you're done, come back and check the answer.